Hey guys, what's up, and welcome to my first impressions of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I'm currently around 11 or 12 hours into the game, and I actually just beat the boss in Flare Pool area, and I was going to make my first impressions earlier, but I just really wanted to dig deep. In fact, I've been playing this game for upwards of 6 or more hours a day since I have been sick, which is another thing. If I sound a little, I am getting over a little cold, and I apologize for that. Also, this is kind of an off-the-hooks, unscripted video. I don't even know if I'm gonna cut stuff out. I may make some light cuts, but this is going to be very much of just my first. Well, not really first, but my impressions. So, let's get into it. So, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is one of the most controversial games right now. You either hate it or love it. I've seen people on Metacritic giving it a 0. They're obviously just coping, and then people love it. So, first off, it's a very different game. It does still have a lot of the core roots, which I'm very thankful for, but it's a very different game. A lot of the controversy right now is, of course, around the NPCs and music wall, which basically, if you get one of the amiibos, it will unlock a Viola radio, but people are blowing it out of proportion and saying that you have to pay for the music. That's actually not true. You still have ambient music in the desert. It's just, it unlocks a radio so that you can listen to other tracks in the game. And they're only select tracks. I like it. I do have one of the amiibos, but not only is it not blocking music entirely, you can unlock it after you beat the game, from what I've heard. So yeah. So that is just another blown out claim about this game. But let's just get into my first impressions. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, so far, I am enjoying the game. I think it's a really great game, honestly. I'd probably give it a 9, honestly. Now, there have been several points in this game that I was like, definitely a few things I didn't like about this game. I'm going to try to keep this video as spoiler-free as possible. I will show footage from the first 2 areas, which is Volt Force and Fury Green. So, first of all, the vibing of this game and the art direction is very different from the others, but I actually like it. It's very sci-fi, very eerie. And I have to admit, especially the opening area in this game has, not being over-exaggerated, the best atmosphere in a Metroid Prime game. So did Volt Forge. A few of the other areas I wasn't too fond of because there was more NPCs, which I'll talk about in a minute, but overall I like the art direction of this game. As far as the desert, I do really like it, but I have to say it is a little weird, honestly. It just kind of feels a little out of place, but I still think it's so cool roaming around on Viola collecting crystals. And y'all, this is kind of a spoiler, but it's not really because I think we've already known. There is shrines in this game, which is so weird, but also so cool. And there's just so much weird things about this game, but I like it, you know what I mean? It is kind of confusing on where to go, but you do kind of figure out where to go eventually, and yeah. And I have to say, Volt Forge is definitely by far my favorite area so far, and I do really like Viola. It has so many different things that I'm not going to tell y'all because it's heavy spoilers, but I do really like it. It's definitely new and whimsical for the series, and I just think it's going to take fans time to get used to it, but I so far really like it. It's a little weird. The desert is kind of in some areas, like there's just random Federation ruins where you can't really do much. But yeah. Now, let's just get into the hook. Let's talk about these NPCs. So, a lot of you either love them or hate them, but I'm kind of in the middle. Honestly, Miles McKenzie is nowhere near as bad. And in fact, so far, he's like my second, like he's the least annoying out of all of them. There's one character that isn't as annoying as him, but genuinely, he wasn't too bad. And you were only with him for like 15 minutes. Now, he can radio you, but it's literally just the hint system. But instead of text, he'll be like, hey, why don't you go to this area? You know what I mean? And honestly, he gets less quippy as the game goes on, which is good. But I didn't really mind him. And honestly, I kind of like the idea because you still have that atmosphere. You still feel isolated. You have this eerie, because you're like, you don't know what could be lurking in this planet at all. And yeah, you might find a Federation trooper, and honestly, there was one character that was so annoying in this game that I was like, oh man, they didn't die. Which I know that's really morbid and you should never wish someone to die, but it's a literal NPC, not a real person. Anyway, but overall, I'm like 50-50. I like it. I do feel like in some areas, at least so far, because I haven't beat the game, they went a little overkill. Hopefully it doesn't get even more overkill. But so far, not too bad. And honestly, yeah. Now, Nintendo Land did make a point that there isn't as many puzzles in this game, and I do have to admit, there is not a lot, but I honestly kind of disagree with that because there are actually quite a bit of puzzles, just in different ways. And a few of the boss battles were but the last one I just did was amazing. It's probably one of the coolest boss battles I've played. And overall, trying to be brief here and not spoiling too much, this game is weird. This game is whimsical. It's something different from the other games. It definitely has its cons and its problems, but it has a lot of upsides, and I honestly love the vibe of this game. I'm very immersed in this story. The story is mysterious, and somehow it unveils more information to you while still being mysterious. I don't know. I just love. I so far really like the game. Did it live up to my expectations? This is a very hard question to answer because genuinely, in some ways it didn't, and in some ways it did, and in some ways it exceeded my expectations. I can't really name something, but I don't know. I honestly want to say the desert kind of exceeded my expectations in some ways, and the NPCs were kind of as expected. And there was just different little parts of the game that maybe weren't as expected, but for the most part, it matched my expectations or in some areas exceeded them. Now, the hard question is, of course I haven't beat the game, do I put this above Prime 1? And it's very hard. But for now, I do think I'll keep Prime 1. I have to admit, there is some times where I really wanted to, where I wasn't happy about these NPCs, but then again, sometimes where I liked them. So again, now I might honestly be forgetting something to talk about here. This is again just my first impressions. But if there is something y'all want to know my opinions of, just drop a comment because off the script, I've not been feeling good, so I'm liable to forget something. But overall, my general impression of the whole entire game from what I played so far is it is a very good game. It has its flaws. It has its weird parts, but I think it's a way of carrying the series forward, and I just think we have to get used to these things, and maybe in a few years it will be even better. I don't know, but I'm actually really enjoying this game. I really like this game. There hasn't been a lot that I haven't liked. Now, there has been stuff I haven't liked, but there's been a lot that I liked. And there's been so many wow, moments in this game that I just love. So yeah, that's my brief first impressions of this game. Definitely gonna have a review once I beat it, but that will probably be January or late December, because of course Christmas is coming up and I'll probably have a Christmas break, and then it does take me quite a while to produce my big reviews. So yeah. Anyways, y'all, thanks for watching. If you haven't picked up the game, I highly recommend it. I will have to say, this is one of those games that you either hate it or love it. I think most people won't fall into the place where in the middle. I think it's worth a try, honestly, if you know someone has it, maybe borrow it. So yeah. Anyways, y'all, thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.